She is very difficult to officiate because of all of the contact that's happening around her all of the time. That being said, I was in contact with a number of WNBA coaches yesterday about this topic of the officiating in the WNBA.
The WNBA executives are shocked by Rebecca Lobo's comments on Caitlin Clark and the referees. Can no longer disregard them, despite the fact that we recently witnessed the most striking example of the Caitlin Clark effect following. The WNBA's bad refereeing during the Fever Sun game has the potential to completely destroy the league. WNBA legend Rebecca just raised the alarm. This is not only a logical argument. She disclosed what multiple WNBA players are discussing the officiating situation behind closed doors. If we've discovered anything, it's because the WNBA has no idea how to deal with Caitlin Clark, its golden goose. The league won't like this, but it had to be said. Let's examine Rebecca's remarks. And the growing Fever story, which is both fantastic news in many respects and poses important worries about the WNBA's behavior. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel if you enjoy the content. It may surprise you to learn that almost 83% of viewers have not yet subscribed. IT only takes a second and is free. However, it is really important to us. Have you already subscribed? Fantastic. I sincerely appreciate your help. Now, return to the video.
The second-year player clearing out that side of the floor, shooting on Stewie, and then watch the reaction with one another. Stewie's laugh.
It was just a few games ago when Caitlin Clark made her incredible comeback to end the first half. She scored 25 points, including 3 logo bombs in 38 seconds. Fans were reminded of what they were missing during this thrilling time. Everyone in the league was reminded of it. Of the real leaders.
And Cunningham is down behind the play, but they've got Caitlin Clark. 2 players with incredible up. Clark, another long 3. She's back.
The game that clarified everything was the statement of statements. The WNBA have more resources than Caitlin Clark alone. She has the final say. IT wasn't just a mistake when she skipped those 5 games. They were a revelation. There were fewer onlookers, social involvement decreased. The degree of interest in the nation stayed the same. Without Caitlin, every WNBA story appeared to be background noise.
Here we go with Caitlin Clark singularly being missing for the time she was gone, and ratings tanking, 50% in some cases. And then also she comes back and reminds everyone how spectacular she is. And everybody's talking about the WNBA. So if you needed to sort of have it affirmed to you that it is just her, that the singularity of her is what we are talking about and her star power, you got it with this absence and then the way she came back.
The WNBA benefited from Caitlin Clark's return following weeks of dwindling viewership and growing criticism. Their matchup versus the Liberty was one of the most watched WNBA games, with 2.8 million viewers. Broadcasts throughout history did on average, however, 2.5 million fans watched the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, although it's true that basketball and hockey are not exactly the same. Caitlin Clark's recent triumph in the championship game of a century-old a men's sports league is not usual, despite the fact that WNBA leadership seemed to have overlooked this. Olympic gold medalist, Basketball Hall of Famer, and possibly ESPN's most composed, Rebecca Lobo, the voice in the room, has not downplayed the significance of this. Prior to discussing her remarks on, take a look to her account of how dramatic Clark's return was, referees.
Tell me, what does Clark's return mean for the WNBA?
I mean, it means a lot more people are paying attention once again. We know how much Caitlin drives ratings. We know how much Caitlin drives attention on the WNBA. And for her to come back and do it in that way was just ridiculous.
Listen to Rebecca Lobo's words. People are watching once more. Despite being a brief sentence, it conveys a lot, because it indicates that they have given up if they resume watching, and everyone is aware of the precise moment it took place. When Caitlin Clark wasn't there, Lobo didn't end there. She continued by explaining why fans returned as soon as Clark did.
At the end of the first quarter, when she had that 38-second stretch where she drained deep 3 after deep 3 after deep 3, I was just sitting there thinking, I've been around this league since 1997. I have never seen that. in a WNBA game. Have we seen players go on runs? Of course we have, but not like that. Not where a couple of the three-pointers are from 30-plus feet. It was an exhibition by her.
That's the problem. These weren't your typical deep threes or long twos. These were bombastic logos from another. Zip code. Fans watch because few, if any, athletes are able to do it frequently and with such ease. Even Natasha Cloud, who has showed little regard for those who support Caitlyn, it is essential to acknowledge the truth. As soon as she reaches the middle, you have to defend her. This isn't typical. Kindly ask Rebecca.
This angle is wild, folks. There's the eye gouge. Watch Mabry. Boom! I mean, come on.
Everything that has been going on, not only since Caitlyn's return, but during the entire season, and this one as well, becomes quite worrisome since we are no longer just discussing missed calls or challenging defense. We are discussing a trend that is so evident that even seasoned WNBA insiders like Rebecca Lobo are raising their voices. And the match against the Sun, which ought to have sent shivers down the spine of the league. Despite effectively tagging Caitlyn Clark mid-aim, neither JCS Sheldon nor Marina Mabrey were sent off for whatever reason. With a claw to the face and a body check to the court, when I say that JC and Caitlyn were chirping, I'm not lying. A little earlier, she was, but ridiculing someone doesn't give you the right to attack them. The league is not to be expected to achieve the same level of success as WWE if you simply defeat it. Even the pundits were taken aback. It was audible in their voices. They were ready to be banished. The entire league reacted. Similarly, fans, coaches, experts, and even players were taken aback by what transpired.
Hey, we would have been crashing out, RT.
Courtney, if somebody ever tackles you like that,
Nobody would ever tackle me like that. They would play with Bridget like that, and then we would have to like take it up there.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
But I'm just saying.
Nobody would ever throw me like
if
that.
that ever happened, you better crash out behind me, because I'm crashing out behind you. We can share the same jail cell.
Naturally, Caitlyn's face claw and shove went viral and became the talk of the town, but it wasn't an isolated incident of disorder. The officials were disregarding the increasing tension during the entire game.
This is JC Sheldon right here with an entire handful of Caitlyn Clark's shoulder and bicep, and she's twisting it. Okay? I mean, this is wild. Here's the zoomed out look, the snapshot. I mean, this league does not have control of its play.
Additionally, the chippiness quickly boiled after boiling. Naturally, Stephanie White was furious following the game. Even before she talked, it was evident from her body language. She took a seat, inhaled deeply, and let everything out.
The game has changed so much. Players are faster, they're better, they're bigger, they're stronger. They're as good as they've ever been. They're as athletic as they've ever been. The game is fast now. Things are happening quickly. Everybody's getting better, except the official.
Making fun of the referees without naming them is the worst, while everyone else is getting. You're not better. IT is serious and directly relates to the struggles that many players, coaches, and supporters have been facing. The problem is that the Sun game was not the beginning of this. Throughout the entire season, it has been growing. The rough and careless handling of athletes such as Caitlyn Clark, the inconsistent officiating, and the missed calls.
What was that play? Oh my God, this is rigged. This is rigged. She got yanked, fell on her hip. That's a hack. That's a hack. That's a hack. Oh my God, they hacked the one upon her and they hacked Caitlyn Clark. They are both hacks. They are both hacks. They hacked Fever twice, and then there was a phantom foul called on Sabrina Ionescu.
The Fever's lack of calls was evident from the beginning of the season, but with their 90-88 defeat against the Liberty came to a breaking point, a game that became controversial for both participants and spectators. That evening's officiating appeared to be biased. Indiana was unable to purchase ticky-tack fouls, but New York was getting them. A whistle. The Liberty scored more tries at the free throw line than the Fever, demonstrating the difference. Nearly reached the stripe. However, the dubious calls, or lack thereof, were what truly infuriated many. In the last seconds, the very end, the worst happened, and on the final possession, Caitlin Clark was unable to even attempt a shot. After she was blatantly fouled by Natasha Cloud, social media went nuts as playback after replay revealed it. It was not well received by analysts. Supporters were incensed. She left with Stephanie White. Paradoxically, she was penalized for not yelling at the referees following the Sun game. The league appeared to be silently acknowledging its mistakes, as though they were aware of its irrationality. To be honest, they ought to acknowledge it. Because before we even discuss Rebecca Lobo's astute and quite risky remarks for the league, we must discuss the growing dissatisfaction within the WNBA.
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways.
The authorities publicly mock players who complain about harsh play rather than ignoring them. Let's return to Rebecca Lobo and the impact of this on Caitlin Clark. Players are chuckling and saying things like, "If this keeps on, I will be hurt." The following is the conclusion that if Caitlin is defeated, the game has ended. Everyone is aware of it, whether they will acknowledge it or not. The league, the players, the networks, and the supporters. Not at all. To her credit, Rebecca didn't sugarcoat anything either, in the most tactful manner imaginable. She delivered the required statement. However, if you pay attention to what she says, it is far more worrying than you may imagine.
The second time where I'm attacking, it's very physical. I'm saying something to the ref, watch my man in his face, watch physicality. I get laughed at, and it ends in my ankle getting turned. The same thing happened in Dallas, a flagrant that wasn't called. Same thing happened here. So my ankle is hanging in there, but it's starting to get very frustrating. I'm averaging less than 2 free throws a game, and I drive, I'm physical. I'm not someone who's avoiding contact. So I just hope that the safety of players starts to become a priority versus the ego of refs.
Did you understand what she just said? She said more than just that some coaches are worried. Each of them. She uttered those words. The officiating is a major issue. According to every coach she has spoken to, things get much worse right now. Because if all of the coaches concur that the officials have lost control, they will be forced to make alterations that a new set of rules will apply to them. When the silent one says, it gets dangerous. If the referees refuse to defend our guys, we will.
She is very difficult to officiate because of all of the contact that's happening around her all of the time. That being said, I was in contact with a number of WNBA coaches yesterday about this topic of the officiating in the WNBA, and all of them said it needs to get better. Specifically, the consistency, not only from one game to the next, but the consistency within.
That's all. Since there is no highway enforcement, it is similar to encouraging people to travel as fast as they like. And even though speeding is dangerous, you will fall behind if you don't. That's exactly what the WNBA is doing right now. They are fostering an atmosphere where players feel compelled to comply by refusing to improve officiating standards. It's about survival, therefore be more aggressive even if it's dangerous. Additionally, they are aware that the referees won't intervene. The result is already known to us. The cheap shots, the obvious fouls against Caitlin Clark, the body checks, and the growing annoyance of the coaches and supporters. And when it occurs once more, it begins to resemble a message as opposed to a mistake. It seems that the league is recommending that Caitlin Clark be protected. Is the season of openness